which school's spring practice is going to play the most pivotal role in determining their 2022 season outcome? Now, I got a few answers here, but I really thought first and foremost about LSU. But I can go several directions here. But I want you to think about LSU, because LSU is a program, obviously, with a new coach in Brian Kelly, and it's also a program in a lot of transition culturally. So the way this works, to me, from now moving forward, because we're in the transfer portal era now, is you have a big transfer portal window, unfortunately, that overlaps with hiring season. We just went through those. So Brian Kelly, he's on campus now. LSU had a lot of guys leave. LSU had a lot of guys come in. But now we're going into spring practice. And this is the first time where these new coaches get to lay eyeballs on their new team, on a practice field, going through their drills, running their plays, and trying to implement their formula. Well, how critical are those practices? Think about that for a second. If you're Brian Kelly, you don't even know all the names on your roster because you've tried to drink water from a fire hose for the past month or 2 months and try and acclimate yourself, but now it's time to actually play some football, or at least practice it. Well, think about Brian Kelly every day. Every day, he is learning more about his roster in 1-2 hour practice than he could have known from years and years of studying pieces of paper and film. And then they get to reassess as a staff after you get into spring practice a little bit. And then what do we have? We have a spring game, and then we have the curtain dropping on spring practice. But then there's that second transfer portal window. That's what's so important about this. Anytime a new staff comes in now, it's not just, all right, here comes spring practice, I'm going to see the team I have. Well, yeah, you're seeing a majority of the team you have, but you always know if you go through spring practice and you hate your tight end unit, or you think you're terrible at outside linebacker, you always know there's that one final reservoir. There's that one final, little press if help needed button over here, and that's the transfer portal's second window. So I'm very interested whether it be Brian Kelly at LSU. You could say the same thing about Billy Napier at Florida. You could say the same thing about Lincoln Riley at USC, Brent Venables at Oklahoma. All these new coaches who have come into high-profile programs where we've already seen some roster turnover, don't assume the roster turnover is done. Those guys are going to go through spring. They're going to learn what they have and probably more importantly learn what they don't have. And then some of them are going to pretty desperately try and hit that portal because this is, for better or for worse, a new age of college football where no one cares that it's year one. No one cares. No one's going to care. When Brian Kelly, if he exited September 2-2, no one would care that, oh, it's year one. We're not focused on records so much this year. Yeah, you are. Yeah, they count that first year just as much in the record books as they count year 2, 3, and 4. So everyone wants to win immediately. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't have the pieces to do that. A lot of times that's why you have been hired, because the product wasn't good enough. Well, you're still dealing with the leftovers of that product. You got to remake it as quick as you can. And a lot of times, that second transfer portal window after spring, that's what you need to pay attention to. So that's what I'm watching. All these new staffs. I mean, you could go both of the Virginia schools, same way. There are a lot of programs that fit this description. Look at Penn State. They don't have a new head coach, but you got a new defensive staff up there. How's that going to change things? So there's a lot of places you can look at and you can apply that. Notre Dame, same way. We could do like a whole show just looking at the transfer portal window after spring for new staffs.